What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. Favorite records of 2025. Let's go. That is right, you guys. These are going to be my favorite records that came out of 2025. Honestly, some of the music we got this year is probably the best music we've gotten from certain bands in a very, very long time. This encompasses a little bit of hard rock, but it's mostly metal. Let's just get down to it. Now, this is going to be part one because this is a long list. I wanted to cover around 25 albums altogether. Some of them I don't have hard copies of yet. They're still in the mail, or I'm still waiting for them to come back after doing a little bit of Christmas and birthday shopping. But let's go and get down to it. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you guys. And let's start off with the banger. Paradise Lost, Ascension. This band, I did an entire video on breaking down this box set and breaking down this whole video together. And what a wonderful experience. This is picking up right where they left off with Obsidian. It's a wonderful album. It's heavy, it's brutal, it's melodic, it's beautiful. There's so many wonderful hooks. The lead guitar moments on this were so well written and purposeful. There is not a single filler track on this record, much like Obsidian. Everything was impactful and everything was well done. Everything was dark, ethereal. This is definitely in my top 10 records that came out this year, but for the purpose of this video, we're not going to be ranking them. I think this was just a phenomenal album and everybody needs to hear it, especially if you're a metalhead. Continuing off with another band that has probably written one of their best records in years. I love everything this band has ever done, from the very beginning of like Small Boy in a Gray Heaven, but this is their first to feature their new clean vocalist from Caliban, and this album is just fantastic. There's so many great moments on here that really encompass, I would say, the entire discography of this band. And this is the first time I've really heard this band do this, where they stuck to their formula, but they played everything that they played throughout their career. There's certain songs on there, like if you listen to Insomnia, you can really feel the last 10 years of Caliban on this album. But then there's other tracks on here, like Alt Steel, Dear Suffering, Solace and Suffer, and Infection, that really take me through the journey of this band. So obviously Caliban, Back from Hell, fantastic album, definitely on the top 25 playlist. And you can't mention 2025 without this album. This is my most played album on Spotify. It's, mostly because I listen to music in the car, but on vinyl, I also play this a lot as well. And of course, you can't not mention 2025 and not mention Whitechapel Hymns and Dissonance. Phenomenal record. Exactly everything that I've wanted from an Whitechapel album. I've enjoyed what they've done for the last couple of years. I enjoyed the melodic side of them, but this is just a return to just punishing brutality. No clean vocals allowed on this record, and I'm okay with that. I would say everything on here is fantastic. I love the opener, Prisoner 666, but, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the last couple of tracks where they really pulled out the melodic guitar work. Bedlam opens up with this pummeling sound, caveman grunt vocal that just decimates the rest of the song. Really loved how they opening that. Visceral Wretch was the first track I heard off this record, one of their first singles. But Mammoth God and Nothing Is Coming For Us were just so emotionally tying and melodic when it comes to their guitar work. But again, no clean vocals. But really, I played the last three tracks the most on this album. And those are three of my highest played songs. So if you're wondering where to start, you want that big nasty, I would say go for A Visceral Wretch. But if you really want to get more tied into the dark emotional side and the melodic side with the guitar work, go to the last three tracks. But obviously, Whitechapel, cannot mention them. And really, this entire playlist, I think, is just like a giant FU to whatever Nick Nocturnal Awards was. That was the most garbage list I've ever seen in heavy metal history, with the exception of Lorna Shore and A Day to Remember. Mad respect to them, but everything was just either Spirit Box or like the same three bands over and over and over again. It wasn't even metal. It was basically sponsored by TikTok, and it was TikTok core all over and over and over again. So Nick Nocturnal, your list was absolute garbage. Calling it out right now. That was not a Metalheads playlist. This is basically glorified TikTok 14-year-old girl core. Sorry, but that list was trash. Let's talk about some real freaking metal. That should have been on that list. Heaven Shall Burn, Heimat, it's German for home. Best thing they've written since their album came out in 2020, the double album. Phenomenal. Right where they left off. They kept up with using the same artist. My apologies, I always forget his name. Phenomenal record. Listen to it cover to cover at least 100 times on both vinyl and Spotify and CD. And of course, I got the deluxe edition with all the bonus tracks that they've released throughout the years. And if you're going to get this, you need to get the bonus tracks, especially if you've been listening for a long time and you've always wanted to get those bonus tracks on CD, like which I used to have to do back in the day, where you had to buy the deluxe CD or else you weren't getting the bonus tracks. Well, now they're all listed on the song, in addition to live. Everything on here is phenomenal. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to tell you to go with. But, oh God, it's such a good album. I love this so much. It's just as good as the 2020 album and probably better than, the best thing since Endzeit when they came out with that. But I mean, Confounder, Empowerment, War is the Father of All, Numbered Days, which is a Killswitch Engage cover featuring Jesse Leach redoing vocals. Everything about this album is everything I love. Now, you do know Heaven Shall Burn. You know the first and last tracks are going to be intro, outro tracks, which the intro track in this case was very thoughtful, and it ties perfectly into War is the Father of All. The final track is just kind of like their send-off piece, which they always do. So it's 13 tracks, but it's really kind of like 12. But it's a phenomenal record. If you haven't checked it, please do. You will not be disappointed. I would say my favorite tracks, though, War is the Father of All, Confounder, Empowerment. Unbelievable album. You need to check it. Now, this was a big surprise. Oh, man. Off of Beach Impediment Records. It's got Paul Mazurkowitz from Cannibal Corpse. This is Heaven's Gate, Tales from a Blistering Paradise. Just big, nasty, blackened punk, crust, thrash, everything mixed all together. Fast, angry, pummeling songs. This picture is actually from Clearwater, by the way. Used to drive by this all the time on my way to work. Back in the long time ago when I used to live there, but not anymore. So, blistering crust punk, like blackened thrash, yeah, fantastic. Pummeling, brutal. Check it out. And, this is the first time I actually first or second time I've only bought a record from Barnes & Noble, but they had it. I had a gift card and needed to come home with Daddy. I love this album. I know a lot of people are complaining because this looks like it's AI. The band refuted it, saying it's not AI. It doesn't really matter to me. This album is like a blackened horror movie, or like a melodic horror movie. It's the only way I can explain it. Fantastic album. Return of Mike Portnoy, and I really just love what they did. It was mixed by Andy Sneap as well, so that really did contribute to the quality of sound on this record. A lot of people were saying this is their best return to form since Black Clouds and Silver Linings, and I agree. This feels like Black Clouds and Silver Linings. Really thoughtful melodies. There's a little bit of the musical masturbation on there, which they always do, but I would say it's not as much overdone as it's been done on certain albums. I thought every song on here was thoughtful, well thought out, and well put together without too much of the musical masturbation stuff. I think it was just a great album, and definitely on the 2025 list. Whoa, sorry about that, folks. Now, I might get some flack for this one, but this band's from France. This is off of A Rising Empire. This is the newest record from Landmarks. It's just a blast from finish to end. Played this one 1,000 times as well. I kept the hype sticker because that was really cool looking. Now, one of the singles that they released for this one is Creature, and it's just like, it starts off with this French rapping thing, which plus or minus on that one, but the opening track was pretty cool. Just kind of like this hype song that really gets you into it, but I would say it's a heavy, well-made album. Everything's meticulously done. A Rising Empire is kind of famous now because they do rap on everything and everything's overproduced and everything sounds exactly the same. Thankfully, Landmarks in this case stuck to their formula. They created a great album with some of those shorter, like melodic tracks that they've done on their previous albums. They're only like 1:30 and they're kind of like these like mid-intro tracks that have like a meaningful pass or a meaningful like hook in it. This is no different, but a fantastic record. They did a really good job with this. And I think this beat the Rising Empire formula that's been driving me nuts lately. So thankfully they didn't abide by that formula. A couple more to go before we're done. And then we'll get down to part 2. Goat. One of the best records of 2025. Testament Parabellum. They did it, man. Fantastic record, cover to cover. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's a phenomenal record. They even have like this really, really great ballad on there. And the ballad builds up into the big build up when then Chuck Billy comes back in and does the screaming again. Like melodic screaming is basically how I would put it. GOAT. Return to form of one of band I've been hoping that would do well, and they did great. They completely blew me away. Did a midnight release party. Deftones, Private Music, best record they put out in 15 years. Reminds me of their older stuff. Reminds me a lot of Be Quiet and Drive Far Away. Phenomenal record. This is the purple cover that they did at the midnight release party. I have posters. I have the little door handle. Phenomenal. I have nothing bad to say. Opening track, My Mind is a Mountain, was one of their first singles. Totally blew me away. Ekdesis is probably one of my favorite songs on here. Milk of the Madonna was great too. But I would say if I'm going to pick like my 3 favorite tracks, Ekdesis, Infinite Source, and My Mind is a Mountain, my 3 favorite tracks off the album. It was just so well made. You need to check it out. I might get some flack from this, but I really love what this band has done from the beginning until now. I got an opportunity to meet their lead singer at a Starbucks. He's a phenomenal guy, really nice, and I can see the hype. I can see why, even after listening to this band for the last 15 years, why this band has exploded and only gotten better. And I like every generation of this band, even with the different lead singers, but I can feel the ever black festering within me. The new Lorna Shore, it's fantastic. Even if you think you don't like them because of the hype lately with TikTok core and all that stuff, I get it. Like, I hate popular stuff sometimes too. But I've listened to these guys for a long time, and they've only gotten better. There's even a really frightening song, but it basically closes out with the sniper. You can hear the gun shells popping. And when I heard it on my speakers for this time, it scared the living piss out of me. But I'd say they picked up right where they left off with Pain Remains. They have a lot of Pain Remains moments on it, and I love it. I think they have a great formula. I have no complaints. Every song on here was meaningful and well thought out and well made. It's a fantastic album. Even if you think you don't like them just because of whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you like death metal, if you like deathcore, if you like thrash, you're going to get a lot of what you want on here. It's not metalcore in any way, shape, or form. I think they just did a phenomenal job with this album. And they brought back a lot of the emotion on Pain Remains, but they did a lot of what I wanted from this band, and they included a lot of elements from their last couple of records before Will even joined the band. So, last but not least, I should have called this one the GOAT too, but how many times can you use that in one statement? But You Are Safe from God here, Acacia Strain. Phenomenal record. Blackened crust, thrash, deathcore, death metal, hardcore elements, everything on this record. They have everything. They even have melodic moments, female clean vocalists doing some backups on the final track. The final track is really what they've been doing a lot lately with like the proggy, like longer tracks, Meshuggah type riffs. And, you know, it's funny because the quality is not what you expect from this record. The recording quality sounds like it was recorded 20 years ago, but they did that on purpose. And if you read the making of this video, you realize half their equipment was broken. So they had to work with broken equipment making this record. But I love it. I got a copy of it signed up there and framed it. I had the opportunity to meet Vincent Bennett a few times. He's just a great dude. He was always so nice to me, and I'm fanboying hard, and he signed all my stuff, took pictures with me, but he was just a really nice dude, and he's an amazing guy live, and really, like, you know, he really makes you feel good inside when you feel like maybe the world isn't always at the best. You know, regardless of whatever's going on in your life, if you're going through a hard time in your life, Vinny always makes you feel better, and I feel like Acacia Strain was always there for me, and I will always continue to love and support this band. They did a phenomenal job with this record, but You Are Safe from God here can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people, and he even explains what it means to him. It's not an attack on religion. It's not an attack on Christianity. It's actually just, you know, when life beats you down and you don't have a place of safety, at least you're safe. And I feel like this record definitely did a lot for me. I love everything on here. I love the final track, Eucharist 2 Blood Loss, with the female clean vocals, the kind of proggy type ending. But I would say if you want that track that gives you that hardcore beat down that makes you want to jump into a really good two-step moment, I would say Acolyte of the One. That's going to be your two-step dance core moment, and I love what they did with it. So, you know, that's the first part of this list. Part 2 is coming up soon. And 2025 was an amazing year for metal. They really gave me everything I could ever want from the majority of my favorite bands. and I have an entire list still waiting. I would say shout out because I'm waiting the hard copies to come in. If you haven't checked out the new revocation, New Gods, New Masters, check it. And then scorching. Sorry, their new record's called Ossuary. I just put it on one of my shorts. But Scorching Tomb, Ossuary, good old-fashioned caveman chug chord death metal, New York style chug miss, whatever you want to call it. Like it's amazing. So shout out to those two guys because I'm waiting on the hard copies to come in. But Revocation and Ossuary by Scorching Tomb, phenomenal records. Those are also on this list. But this is part 1. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're taking care of each other. Hope you're taking care of yourselves. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be ready for part 2. Peace.